Hi, this is your buddy, Dr. John Isego here. I want to ask you a question. What type of power do you have? When VDM was detained, there were protests from around the world. You could see youths who were even recluse naturally coming out to protest. So I ask a question. What type of power does VDM have? And what are the types of power? Because this is what is normally discussed in leadership and management circles. Now, there are different types of power. Number one, we have the legitimate power. The legitimate power is derived from a formal position, maybe like a managing director, a manager in an organization. So that power he has is legitimate. Now, the second type of power is the reward power. That is based on the ability to distribute reward, incentives, positions. And these rewards are used to control and influence the behavior of others. Now, this is the kind of power most of our politicians have because they give rewards and distribute incentives. And the day those rewards stops, the loyalty also stops. Now, the third type of power is the coercive power. That comes from the ability to impose penalties or consequences or to even terminate someone's employment. Now, that kind of power is driven by fear, or the compliance to that kind of power is driven by fear rather than commitment. Now, we have the expert power. That type of power comes from knowledge, skill, or expertise in a particular area. People follow such persons because they trust the individual's competence. Now, we have the referent power. Now, this is what I'm going to be talking about VDM. When someone has referent power, it means the person has personal charisma, likability, or the respect others for the individual. Now, listen to me. This kind of power comes from emotional connection, charisma, referent power. Now, when VDM was put in detention, people were complaining from around the world. And the day he was released, it was like one of the biggest news around the world. I listened to one of the YouTube channels, Niger Watch, and people were calling it from around the world, celebrating his release. Now, how did such a young man, just 30 years of age, command such power? It's because he speaks the language of the people. And he lives the language of the people. That kind of power is what our politicians don't have. Because what they have is the reward and the coercive power. And those powers, they are transient. So if you want to have such referent power, you must learn to build value in others. VDM did his services without asking for money from the people or any form of loyalty. He just did it. And because the people saw he was adding value to their lives, they just love him naturally. That's the kind of power you should build. Don't always think of money. How much am I going to make? If I do this, how much am I going to make? Because most things people do are driven by the ability to make money. That is wrong. If you want to have referent power, whereby people just follow you willingly, you must learn to give value to the lives of people. And to our politicians, you could see what a 30-year-old boy did without asking for anyone to vote for him, without any position in government. People naturally followed him. That is how you build greatness, by adding value to the lives of others. May you have that type of power that will change your generations forever. God bless you.